So we will begin by opening SketchUp. This tool helps enable you to move around. The hand tool helps you move around, but without rotating. These two tools will help you throughout the project with moving around the object you're creating. The pencil tool will help to create the object itself. As you can see, the red line is horizontal, the blue line indicates a vertical, and the green line also creates a horizontal line that is perpendicular to the red line. These line colors are also shown as you're creating your object. Once an object has all sides completed, it's then filled in. Another tool to use is the square tool. It'll do the same exact thing, making an object. Now we will begin to use the Move tool. First, highlight the entire object, click the Move tool button. You then can draw. These tools that I'm going over are tools that will be needed when creating a model of the addition to the school that you hope to receive. You also may want to use the curve tool depending on what you're creating. As you can see on the toolbars, there's several different tools to use, but for this video and for this exercise, I would just like you to mostly play around with SketchUp and get used to how the tools work. Also, when drawing these lines, if you type in the dimension you hope to see, those lines, that dimension will pop up. So here I'm going 14 up, and clicking enter, and it is making the exact length that I want these lines to be. For this purpose, it doesn't have to be as realistic, but it's good to know some sort of scale. So this tool that I'm using will move all four sides of a shape. So, and the reason for really doing this when creating something that you want to see built is that we need to remember that walls have a certain thickness. So walls can't just be drawn as a line, but need to be drawn with some sort of thickness. Here I drew the walls as 6 inches, which is pretty typical for a building. Here I'm using the curve tool. And the eraser tool. And as you're going through this and using these tools, you need to hold down on your mouse while using the tool. That way things will either pull up or erase. Make sure you're referring back to your object. It doesn't need to be exactly the way you created it in the 3D model form, but it does need to resemble it somehow. So now I'm going to begin to draw the roof. As you can see, I'm also making the roof a thickness of 6 inches, just to give it some sort of depth. It doesn't have to be realistic. And then you'll notice I'm using the push and pull tool to push the sides. That then it makes it easier to delete the edges that I don't want. So this is going pretty fast. Building this, it's just important to remember to use the push and pull tool, the erase tool, and the pencil tools, and that'll really you should be able to create your sculptures with these tools. As you'll see here, I'm using the pencil tool and the push and pull tool to create those plates. When you're pulling down using the push and pull tool, you can help to line up the thickness of the floors in this case by lining it up next to an object that already has that thickness. Okay, so now you'll see that it's pretty much almost completed. Like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily be realistic. You'll see there's a gap right there. You wouldn't necessarily want that in a real building, but for the purposes of this project, that's going to be just fine. So once you have it completed, we're going to start by putting in some color, and just to give an idea of what you're really envisioning with this project. So if you go to the paint tool, you'll see in that on that icon that there's an icon of a brick, and that brick will give you more realistic materials, whereas the pencils will just give you colors. So right now I'm looking at the glass because that front piece I envision as being a see-through glass. And now you'll notice, because there's 2 layers there to show thickness, that you then have to zoom in and be able to click that other layer in order for that one to be clear as well. So again, just play around with the materials. This should be completed within a class period of having just some sort of sketch in SketchUp of the sculpture or the building that you created for the addition to the school. It doesn't have to be exactly what your 3D object is, but some sort of similarity and some sort of sense of scale. And understanding that walls have thicknesses and to account for those.